First, let's say Savitribai Phule. These you should know all of them, CKNIST. Okay. Because when you are going to write your answers, you will be referring to them, what they have done. Okay. So I will also discuss one question today. So Savitribai Phule, who was born on 3rd January 1831, in the 18th century, could know pamal problems, right, in the society concerning the rights and the status of women. So she was a reformer and she was an educationalist. You know, Sally Bukla, poet and educationalist, it is a great thing because it was a society where women were denied education. They were not allowed to go to school also, right? So he worked, he had many revolutionary ideas. He worked for the dignity of women. And she was a female teacher, right? And her motto was go and get education to the Hindu women. Okay? Hindu women qui fait seulement Hindu for the time, as a start, parce que the Hindu community needed that change, right? Because Hinduism. But she did not limit herself to Hindus. Of course, others also joined her. But as a Hindu woman, her motto was to go and to get education. They were not educated. So one of her weapons she used to get reforms to education. Even her husband supported her. Her husband was Jyotirao Phule. He supported her to get education. He himself introduced her to the world of learning, right? And she got training at Teachers Training Institute, and then a school was set up, right? She used a different method, different tools, ways, new pedagogy, new strategies to encourage those women to learn, to study, right? And she was also giving them some stipend, a few money, some money. They come to learn and they were getting some stipend also, which for some time acted as a plus point encouragement, you can say, for the women. But of course, they were discouraged at a time, but she did not give up, right? So curriculum was modern, okay, in the school, whatever was being taught. It was not like typical Gurukul, okay? So it was many subjects were introduced to the schools like maths, economics, sciences, social studies, and many more, right? Because later they will have to get a job, they will look for jobs. And there were campaigns to deter and discourage them. Many people tried that, okay, to discourage them. And many of the women who were going to learn in the school, they were indeed discouraged. They were not going. There are new strategies of learning to encourage them, right? And she was constantly oppressed, and attacks also was being made to her. Okay. And they did not lose hope. And history also know that along with Savitribai Phule, even Fatima Sheikh, who is known as the first Muslim teacher, they got a great achievement in that. Okay, c'est pour ça que je dis commencer par Hindu women, then of course involved in englobe other people also, other communities also. Et de l'autre côté, for the Muslims, we had Fatima Sheikh, who was trying, doing the reforms. Okay, so this is a bit about her, Savitribai Phule. What were the activities done? Of course, social service. Satya Shodhak Samaj, that is Truth Seeker Society. It was a society whose aim was social equality, justice, respect, and empowerment. Satya Shodhak refers to a simple marriage so as not to be entrapped in debt. So they encourage Savitribai Phule through the Satya Shodhak Samaj society. She encouraged people to do simple marriages so that we don't have debt. And there was awareness campaign which was initiated against dowry. Okay, and of course it took time for this dowry pratha to get rid of, but unfortunately we still have the dowry even today. With a view to empower the low-class people, special well was made available, well, okay, for water. Si je ngete de man féminin, man grandi moun, man capitalist, supposément, they have their own well, and low-caste people cannot use water from that. So provision was made for that, for them to get their water, right? Mahila Seva Mandali was a platform where women were informed about effects of child marriage. They were being educated, child marriage, female feticide, and sati system, right? And these were the common practices at that time. They considered that to be okay to do in that society. So this Mahila Seva Mandali means a group, right? So they try to educate the women, especially about these practices. Childcare centers were also opened, with steps taken to protect pregnant widows. Rape victims were also protected there. In this way, women were made to understand that life does not end with any form of tragic event. In the example of being raped, so if they get pregnant, at times they will think of ending their life. So they have these centers, and they were trying to help those women, those girls, so that they don't have a tragic end, right? Ashrams for widows and orphans were positive steps being taken by Savitribai Phule and people with her. In history, it has been noted that women had to shave their heads after the death of the husband. Pas dans toute tradition kenali, few tradition, few tribe, few people, they follow that. And Savitri Phule even raised her voice against it, not to shave the head. They shave the head because the hair is considered beauty for the woman, though the hair will attract all the men towards her. Ça, c'était la raison qui faisait je peux shave the head. So she was even against that. So she encouraged women to lit the pyre of the deceased husband. So même that cimetière, that lit the pyre, sorry, and thus attempting to give rightful place to women. She died on March 19, 1897. And there is the University of Pune, which has been renamed as Savitri Phule University in Pune. And her birthday is celebrated as Balika Din. Balika means a child, a girl child, and Din is day. Right? So this is about her. So she started as, go and get education, till all those things, reforms she did. Next one, Tarab Shinde. Tarab Shinde, we have a true picture of a great and famous feminist. who was fierce, strong, okay? And she did not fear any challenge, right? She was known to be a powerful thinker, a powerful thinker. She also had revolutionary ideas and protested against domination of patriarchy, the patriarchal society, and the caste system. She has the credit of being the first feminist who raised her voice by highlighting a comparative study of the roles of men and women. Souvent, des fois, nous disons, non, madame, il a sa travail, l'homme, il a l'autre. No? But we have equal rights, equal roles as well. She had been writing many things, many books, many pamphlets. It was a way for her to educate women and other people as well, right? There was a text known as Stri Purush Tulna. Stri Purush Tulna, with a comparison between men and women, right? She was herself denied education, okay? But her father, Babuji Harishinde, stood by her, initiated her to the world of learning, and her father taught her, gave her education at home. School refused to take her. So women should not, go to school. So thanks to her father, today she has a great name. So she had a great concern about the injustice going on with women. And she also voiced out for the repositioning of widows' status. Ça veut dire, faire widows remarriage, right? Soit they would be sati, or they will be, they had to live for, as a widow throughout their life. So she contested against that. And of course, patriarchal society, bien sûr. Jyotirao Phule, the first one, Jyotirao Phule, also supported her in her campaigns, right? She had many writings which became popular, and they were slowly, gradually having impact on the life of people, and especially on the mind of people. And she had so much courage, you can say. She did a challenging thing. She introduced, the ghar jamai. Ghar jamai se kwa say, when the husband get married, he leaves his home and he goes to stay at the bride's home. Ghar jamai, no? Ghar dam de usi jaisa isi. Donc, ghar jamai. So that was introduced by her. And she favored that. Bien sûr, pas besoin de dire Celine favored ghar jamai, then many people were against her. Parce que supposément this is not the tradition and all. But this is really a bold step to take, to encourage women, to empower women, right? So she raised her concern about the double standards existing in Hindu society. Well, whatever double standards existed in the society, it's not due to what has been written in the scriptures. It was all due to misinterpretation, misunderstanding, right? So she was concerned about that. She raised her voice about that, and especially when it comes to the status of men and women. This is a part of an extract from her book, Sri Purush Tulna. Let me ask you something, gods. You're supposed to be omnipotent, freely accessible to all. You are said to be completely impartial. She's talking to God. What does that mean? that you have never been known to be partial? But wasn't it you who created men and women? Then why did you grant happiness only to men and brand women nothing but agony? Your will was done, but poor women have had to suffer for it down ages. Right? This is part of her book. Now, continuing with her, there was the All India Dalit Women Forum, Dalit, low caste, Shudra, All India Dalit Women Forum. And this is started in the year 2006 by Asha Kotwal and Vimal Thorat, right? And it was a platform for the Dalit, for the Shudras, you can say, or for the Dalit. Another word to use for it is untouchable, if you want to use that. So it campaigned against oppressive and degrading nature of the upper caste. Bien sûr, they were Dalit, and who made them Dalit, who considered them Dalit, say the upper class, and the way they were treating them were not correct. As first step, the goal was to bring justice to them. To bring justice to them, comment pour faire ça? Il y en a deux façons. Bien sûr, c'est through education, right? Either you change the mindset of the upper class, which is difficult to do, but it has to be done. Deuxièmement, we develop virtues, confidence in the lower caste people, that they refuse to be Dalit. The word Dalit comes from the word Dalna in Hindi. Dalna veut dire ou krasen affaires. Non krasli, ni choro, so seduce comme si. Ça c'est Dalna. Donc, Dalit, c'est someone whom you are torturing. Comme un chassosi type en créole, right? So, this is Dalit. Donc, the easiest approach to take was to develop qualities like self-respect, leadership qualities, especially self-confidence and courage in the Dalits. And bien sûr, we are talking also about Dalit women. Parce que si vous êtes capable to fight for their right, then it will be easier. No? We can't change the whole society at one go. By higher caste people, it's pas facile to change their mindset. Right? So it became a powerful force to fight against violence against Dalit women. And one among the violence against Dalit women was rape. Okay, it is one of the major violence. Il y a aussi, quand nous cause violence, il y a aussi exploitation. Okay. So it was guided to develop confidence in them, to nurture self-respect in them. So they refused to be Dalit, to be tortured. They also raised their concern to the government. Et pas oublier, il y en a aussi qui nous fait avant, bien sûr, Baba Ambedkar. He also worked for the Dalits. So they worked for better laws, right, to protect those people, Dalit people. Okay, so better laws were applied as protective layers to protect them. Okay, and put the government in the hot seat for the atrocities and injustices they face. Someone has to be accountable for, so the government. It can also be observed that they gained support from international organization, right? The All India Dalit Women Forum. Good. We move to Rita Banerjee. Rita Banerjee was an author and also a feminist. She wrote many things among her non-fiction book, Sex and the Power, Defining History, Shaping Societies, right? In 2006, Rita Banerjee founded the 50 Million Mission campaign. That was the name of the campaign, which has crossed borders as a global campaign to end the ongoing female genocide in India. Okay, female genocide, to end that. That campaign was launched. So she, as a gender activist, she decries the patriarchal setup. Okay, she was against the patriarchal setup and the prejudice against women. Right? Then the Mahila Samakya program, right? The Mahila Samakya program. Its primary objective is to find practical solutions to the socio-economic, cultural constraints which have been isolating women from educational system. Ça veut dire là, l'IP directement attaque the educational system, whereby, bien sûr, nous avons certain people qui ne pas allow women to go to get education. So it was to attack them. Thereby affecting their growth in the society. Bien sûr, without education, we don't grow, we don't flourish. No? It was launched in the year 1988 with a view to create necessary momentum for a new educational policy, right? To include them in the educational policy. The following views were initiated by Mahila Samkhya program, Schizophrenia, let's see. Create enthusiastic feelings for self-esteem, self-confidence in women. Develop strategies for building positive images of women. Create a sense of open-mindedness along with critical thinking, right? And for them to have the ability to voice out, pares tranquille, whatever happens, let it happen. No. Develop the ability to stand for themselves, to decide something and to take action, to make them, prendre their own decision. Women be trained to be able to take right decisions in matters like education, employment, health, reproductive health, anything. So to help them to take their own decision dans n'importe quel field. Given that acquiring knowledge is key, women were encouraged to be well informed about different matters and to be skilled, right? So that they can be economically strong. Donc, tu peux travailler les skills for them to work, to earn. Being aware of legal matter and their rights, to allow women to express their views liberally, to make them aware what is the law, what is written there, and for them to express themselves. Develop opportunities for participation in all matters, relevant matters, whatever it is, right? And also women were informed about the use of contraceptives. Ça, c'est un major work parmi all of whatever the Samkhya program has been doing, right? Because they were having too many kids. It was worth noting that this movement, the Mahila Samkhya program, is popular in as many as 130 districts across 11 states in India, almost everywhere in India, c'est-à-dire, right? The activities now, Mahila Samkhya programs, Suban activities, Nari Adalat, Women's Court. Okay, longtemps il nous a une panchayat, c'est pas monsieur, non? The Pancha Parmeshwar, tu appelles it. the 5 men, only men. But here we have Nari Adalat. Here everything associated with family disputes were being debated and discussed. Mahila Shiksha Kendra for education. There were residential programs for education. Kastuba Gandhi Balika Vidyalay. Kastuba was the wife of Gandhi. So girls' school, secondary school. Adult literacy program. Okay. We also know the participation of women to give way to democratic values, right? They were not, it was a time they were not even allowed to voice out something happening in their house. So they were trained to voice out. Providing support and due rights to women through the NGOs. There were also educational institutions, many more which were opened. And this clearly showed that this movement worked effortlessly. Pulingapa being so popular in India, so of course it worked effortlessly to improve the status of women and to empower them, right? They did many things after all. Then you have the Gulabi gang, the women with pink saris. There was also a movie in 2014, Gulab Gang. Madhuri in that, I think so. So it's actually the gang which they formed, Sizengit Fimla. They were voicing out, bien sûr, to ban evils, malpractices, and they learned fighting also, self-defense. This was initiated by Sampat Pal Devi in 2006, which is quite recent, quand no? Even in l'année 2000, no, India was still facing so many problems. So they advocate for the fight against domestic abuse and violence vis-a-vis women, right? So the activities of Gulabi Gang, working for ensuring basic right of women, rural areas, campaign to eradicate traditions which were problems in the progress of women, for example, child marriage and other issues. Making provision to support women, to give them training, to be skilled, to be independent, to be fearless, like even fighting. Make provision for training women for sustainable livelihood, the travail, they learn something. Use appropriate tools to fight rapists and violence. As child marriage was an issue, they worked to eradicate this practice. There was plenty of effort made to ensure basic rights of women. It works seriously to get rid of female illiteracy. Okay. There is attempt to reduce crimes against women. This is what Sampat has said, Sampat Pal Devi. We are not a gang in the usual sense of the term. We are a gang for justice. Normalement, quand on dit gang, c'est un gang, c'est un monde qui fait des autres, no? But it's not like that. So they are there for justice. According to critics, the Gulabi gang has stepped into the vacuum left by the state and offers an alternative means for attaining justice. Whatever laws are there in the Constitution of India, laws are there to protect women, they should be educated, so many laws, yet they are facing the problems, right? Malgré saman law, malgré ki the punishable by law, they were facing the problems. So these women, they took things in their hand, right? Even the state could not deny their recognition. The Gulabi gang has created such a force of women rights and awakening that it has brought a new desire to fight against women exploitation. Now, that's about critics which people have said, right? This was said by Arvind Singh, who was from the police, right? Right. So this is about Gulabi Gang qui au fait m'appelle the film night s'appelle Gulab. Yeah. It is Gulabi Gang. And they were fighting, they were doing things with saris. Means the pan the tradition, the culture. They were doing their roles as a woman, as a wife, as a daughter, whatever it is. Yet they were fighting for their rights. No? Now, so far we have seen these are, right? We have seen everything in it. This is the modern society, modern samaj, modern campaigns, which has been introduced. Nous commencé par savitribai phule dans les années 1800, etc., jusqu'à even Gulabi Gang, very recent, 2006, right? Yet women are still facing problems. But in our Hinduism, we have characters like Durga, Lakshmi, Kali, Parvati, Sita, Draupadi also. These are women who somehow, si je prends Sita and Draupadi, they faced injustice, they faced inequality, they faced problems, evils, right? The same society. And they had to fight for it. Dans cette façon, they fought for these, against these problems, right? Donc, you have to put in mind whenever you do a question like, qui fait un peu de ça parce que l'année dernière, tu as une question sur ça. Evaluate the claim that Sati and Draupadi are feminist role models. Est-ce qu'ils sont des role models? You can get the question as Kali and Durga, Lakshmi. Normalement, ils peuvent pas mettre Kali et Durga ensemble. Ils peuvent mettre Kali and Lakshmi. Right? Parce que Sati and Draupadi, il y a une belle différence dans ça. Right? One of the major difference was Sita, not Sati, I think I've been saying Sati, no? It's Sita. Sita was a bit submissive. You know, things happened, Leslie happened, she went to the forest, Ram left her because of the washerman, people were gossiping, you know. She did not rebel, but at the end she rebelled, yes. Lala même qu'il irait rentre in the dharti mata, il irait rentre dans la terre, tout ça. But if you take Draupadi, her name was Krishna, and she was born out of fire. So Draupadi was not submissive. She was rebellious. N'importe quel stage de la vie était, she was rebellious. À ce point-là, elle était rebellious, c'est-à-dire que tant qu'il n'est pas pour gagner the blood of Duryodhan, qu'il est pour mettre ça dans ses cheveux, il n'est pas pour attacher ce cheveu, parce que Duryodhan s'est dit aller to come and sit on his lap. Right? If you remember Mahabharata a bit. So she was that rebellious. Okay, donc quand you study this one, sa section là, bien sûr you're going to study what the modern people they have been doing so far, good, mais pas oublier to refer here also. Get sa question là whenever, if you are attempting this question, you will be talking about Sati and Draupadi. Yes, they are feminist role models, quelque part. Bien sûr, mais nous pouvons consider plutôt Draupadi as the feminist role model compared to Krishna, to Sati, sorry, to Sita. Sati is in my mind compared to Sita. Bien sûr, you can add other new reforms qui s'amènent in faire, bien sûr. Right? You can add that in your work here. Okay, so my point here is you have, whenever you prepare this part of the question, pas oublier Samana. Right? Lakshmi being, tu es en outre les pays du piano, c'est Michel. Lakshmi, Durga, Kali, Parvati, Sita, and Draupadi. C'était différents caractères, different roles, different attitudes also. Good. And should we expect women today to be like Lakshmi, for example? You know, just how you need to think about it, to reflect on it. Moi, personnellement, je trouve que a woman is in toutes les deux facettes. Li comme ça. Ne pas qu'à être submissive. Li moun pour craser nous-mêmes. And it's not good also to be too rebellious. Quand nous pouvons être too rebellious in life, we will lose everyone around. This is my point of view là. So we need to have both facets in our life. We are rebellious whenever needed. And else we have certain duty. Let's say I'm a wife, I have certain duty as a wife, as a woman to perform. So I do that. Make not to be rebellious even towards the husband or towards the in-laws, towards society. I have to do it. Because even Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, we must not tolerate justice. Right? Voila, this is about the last